If you've ever traded Bitcoin and you still don't know what it is, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. We're in for another episode of live trading. You know how we're going to do. We got my man 13 in the back. We got some stuff moving around, some setups. Let's hit it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right. Good morning, folks, and welcome back. We are back for another episode of live trading. It is great to have you all back. Chuck, Smoke Tuna, Brian, Richard, and the whole crew, everyone else that's joining us from wherever you are and however you may be joining us. We thank you. Let's go ahead and bring on 13. 13, how you doing this morning, my man?
I'm doing okay. Just, trying to find some good setups, some good trade ideas here, but I think they're a little thin today. But let's see what we can find as we get closer to the open.
I'm old enough to remember the last time we thought we were a little thin. We ended up having some plays to take a look at. So we'll hope for the exact same thing today. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Of course, we're going to start with the SPY. I added the 20-day moving average to this chart, largely because it's really in play here. I know that you've talked about it quite a bit, so I want to be able to provide a better visual aid for this as well. But the other thing is that we are noticing that we're at an inflection point, aren't we, 13? Looks like our trend might be changing depending on what this candle does here today. So you'll recall we've pretty much been on this staircase up. It's really kind of slowed down recently. After this push up on Tuesday, March 12th, we've really kind of been unable to break the top end of that range. We're trading more sideways than we have been in the past, and we're coming back into that 20-day moving average. So you can see here on Friday, March 15th, we actually tested that. We gapped up on Monday. Now we've kind of drifted back to that, but we haven't broke down just yet. I have that level here at 510 exactly. SPY is currently at 511.40. So we are right above it. I expect this to get tested today. Now, 13, you had an observation here regarding the number of days that the SPY is trading this pattern. What are you thinking here?
We've seemed to have slowed down a little bit from how often we've been, making new highs, consolidating, coming back down a little bit, and then breaking out into new highs. It hasn't been usually taken this long, no more than 7 trading days usually, and today, it's the 7th trading day, so today should be the day where we start to we make a new high. Now, if we don't do that, we're sort of breaking that trend, and then we have the rate decision tomorrow. So there's a lot of it seems like there's not just only waiting, but weakness and uncertainty. So we could be start to trail down if those if what the Fed says isn't liked. If what Micron's earnings looking like on that same day after hours, and then we go into a FedEx report the following day, which has been a pretty decent gauge of the strength of the economy. So if they're expecting a downturn, we could see an economic downturn as well. That's kind of what I'm looking for, and that's so I'm just kind of mostly waiting to see what the Fed does. But I thought it was pretty telling that, since we're not breaking out into new all-time highs, that the market is a little bit uncertain, a little bit timid, I guess we'll use the word, to try to push it up and be buying up here,
Yeah, it hasn't made its decision. It really hasn't made its decision. Now, the one thing that we've talked about is the volume being low. The interesting thing here is that if you look at the daily chart, the last 3 days, the volume, although it's still been under the average, has been elevated, and it's predominantly been selling volume. So that makes me wonder if people are kind of unloading here. The thing is that, we've seen this look like it's going to go down plenty of times. It ends up not going down. People are off sides. Market pushes to new highs. It'll be very interesting to see if we get the same thing here. This week really does seem to be kind of an inflection week, right? We've got chart formation setting up. We've got the Fed tomorrow. And then, as you mentioned, the FedEx earnings later on in the week here, coupled with, I'm going to remind you again, if you're not a fan, the March Madness college basketball tournament starts on Thursday and Friday. And there is definitely going to be lighter volume during that period. In fact, we had Matt Malley on yesterday. He didn't mention it in the spot that he was on here yesterday, but he did mention it to his subscribers that he has noticed this too over a number of years. here. So it's not just me with my sports bias glasses on. It should actually be lower volume. We'll see what that does to the actual market itself. Okay, with that being said, we can go ahead and dive into some other setups here. As a reminder, I do want to mention that this stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So again, we're out here trying to help newer traders. If you need help getting over that 25K threshold for the purpose of day trading, Trade the Pool can help you out. If you just need more buying power because your system is good and you want to start increasing your gains, check out Trade the Pool as well. They help us out all of the time, and they give us some plays here. And we've got some more here today. So let's talk about those real quick. Let me go ahead and bring up their list of stocks in play today. Mara, Nvidia, SMCI. Nvidia and SMCI both coming back in. Nvidia is really an interesting one because of the AI conference that's still going on. They announced their Blackwell GPU yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see how this reacts here today. Pre-market fairly muted for Nvidia. So we'll see if we get a larger move when the market opens. If you guys need these levels at all anymore, let me know. And I'll go ahead and bring them back. Now, really quickly, I want to go over some of the bigger stocks here, 13, and then we'll go ahead and hit that movers list and maybe some new issues for today. But we do have a little bit of a hangover from yesterday with some of the plays. So we're going to start here with Mara. This one isn't from yesterday. This was right off Trade the Pool's list here today. Where obviously Bitcoin has been volatile recently. We're actually up off the lows back at 63,700 on the futures chart here for Bitcoin. I don't know if any of you saw it, but MicroStrategy did an offering here, and 13 and I were talking about MicroStrategy before we came on here. MicroStrategy completes 603.75 million offering of 0.875 convertible senior notes due 2031. So, maybe they're just trying to. My hypothesis is maybe that they're trying to buy more Bitcoin. But maybe this has an effect on other stocks here tomorrow. With Bitcoin being lower, we can actually see Mara a little bit lower here, but we're in this nice little channel. So this is going to set up our trading plan. We're going to look for the exact same thing we've been looking for several days, or for the last several days. If we break out of the upside, we want to retest that upside level and then have a move up. If we break from the downside, we want to retest that level and then have a move down. So that's going to be the new issue for today. The three from yesterday actually might still be in play. If we start here with Google, you can see Google was actually lower. This trade, the bounce, this setup here yesterday worked, although it didn't really pay. Google obviously slowed down and then rolled back over. But this bounce move in here worked. Now we're actually trading back into that level from yesterday. So I'm curious to see if it obeys any of these. So I'm going to keep an eye on Google. I'm also going to keep an eye on Apple. We had the same setup yesterday for Apple. It never really gave us a trade because it just pushed right out of the gate. It didn't give us that entry trigger that we were looking for. Maybe we'll get that today as we're trading right back into that range. Tesla was another one. Looks like right here with Tesla, we're kind of creeping back into that range. Let's see if we actually bounce off this 170 here today on Tesla. So a number of stocks there had setups from yesterday. Those might be coming back here today. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on those. Now, let me go back to let me actually remove this here. Go back to Pro. We can take a look at the movers tool and see what's moving around here. 13, did you have anything you want me to cover before I start hitting this list?
Oh, no, go ahead. There's only a few that I found interesting, but their floats are quite large. So I don't know that they're even able to be traded in the way that we usually do.
Okay. So the first one on the list here is actually going to be hot. This is not the one at the top of the list, but this is one that I wanted to discuss because this show has a lot of familiarity with hot. Mm-hmm. I think that this is a really kind of a junky name, but we do see this move around a lot, and sometimes it provides trading opportunities. So this morning here, hot therapeutic shares are trading higher after the company announced a preclinical research showcasing the potential of one of its Alzheimer's drugs. Now, this is a preclinical trial, so this move here on Hoth doesn't really seem out of place, right? We had a huge pop. We're dropping. Maybe we'll get a bounce trade in here. I'll be honest, given some of the setups and given some of the way these smaller names have behaved, this is lower on my priority list for today. And normally, if things were working, I'd probably target some type of run here. But just because of the environment recently, I'm just not too sure. I wanted to mention this one just because this is such a frequent ticker to appear on the scanner. I have no doubt it will appear on the relative volume scanner again here today. Maybe we get a move back to VWAP. Maybe we get a push and a volume expansion through VWAP. Just keep it on your radar here. Ticker HOTH.
Yeah, you probably see this one a lot because they don't just dabble in one thing like this Alzheimer's disease. They also are trying to work on oncology as well. If you can look at their news feed, scroll down to February, you can see that they've been engaging with Alta Sciences to perform a study for cancer fighting therapeutics. So there's different things that they're doing. This one does have a 4.3 million share float, so that's not going to be very difficult to move around. So I don't know where this one ends up today, but that preclinical news is it's going to be enough to move it, but I just don't know how much for how long. Probably not very much.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And several of our chat members here giving you warnings because like I've said already here, we've seen this one a lot. Beach Bum here saying Hoth is notorious for reverse splits and reoffering of shares, and we've talked a lot about those reverse splits really being kind of junky. I mean, Mullen is probably the most prime example here. But again, we're just trying to give you the context here. Lynn and Randy also saying Hoth been bag holding that piece of doo-doo for a long time. So this really kind of gives you an idea that this is to be used only as a trading vehicle. You definitely don't want to get cute with this name. We've seen it pop and drop and pull back quite a bit. So it is moving here, but be careful.
I thought they smelt that on the outside.
That is a great Empire Strikes Back quote. Ticker Hoth, let's go. We're on it here today. Next one here on the list, I don't really think there's going to be a trade here. This is ticker FUSN. The reason that I'm highlighting this is because if you remember at the beginning of the year, I thought that the biotech sector actually might be one worth trading this year. We've seen a lot in M&A in this sector, and we have another piece of news here today. Fusion Pharmaceutical shares trading higher after the company announced it entered into a definitive agreement to be acquired by AstraZeneca. Also, Leerink Partners downgraded the stock from outperform to market perform, but raised its price target from 17 to 21. So this stock here pinned at 21. It's an acquisition. I don't really think there's going to be a trade here. 13, you brought up a really good comment this morning. Hey, the biotech, there has been a lot of M&A. What's next, right? We did COVID, did some of this other stuff. What's next? Maybe cancer. I know this is talking. Is this oncology? So this one is oncology. And, we've talked about some of the big biotech business lines, oncology, Alzheimer's, diabetes. These diseases have huge addressable markets. So when these companies have really good data about a potential treatment or therapeutic, it often moves the stock. In this case, you're seeing companies get bought out. That's something to keep on watch. It's very difficult to predict which companies are going to get bought out. Difficult, if not impossible, frankly, to predict which companies are going to get bought out. But there might be some telltale signs along the road. So I just kind of wanted to highlight Fusion here, another M&A in the biotech sector. Keep your eye on that one. Anything else to add here on Fusion, 13?
No, you hit it.
Okay, pretty simple. Next on the list here is going to be ENVB. This is Enveric Biosciences. This is also no stranger to our show. This runs off the relative volume scanner quite a bit. We do have a catalyst here. Enveric Biosciences shares are trading higher for the company announced that it signed two non-binding term sheets with undisclosed biotechnology company to pursue, out licensing of cannabinoid COX-2 conjugate compounds for pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical applications for the treatment of joint diseases. So it looks like we're getting a cannabinoid PR in there to help joint diseases. I did notice that Jay Rice earlier telling us that our best ETF the last 2 days were some of those pot ETFs, right? MJ and MSOS. Actually, that's probably worth taking a look at here. I know that these are smaller price ETFs, but Jay's exactly right. Look at the day we had yesterday following the day prior to that. This one's really moved. MSOS is the other one that Jay is mentioning here. This one a little bit higher price, but the exact same type of formation. So we'll see if there's any type of continuation. Now we have another stock that has a PR about some type of cannabinoid-based treatment. You will see. We'll see if this ends up giving us a trade here. You got anything on ENVB?
Not particularly with ENVB, but if we are, we've been talking about how the rescheduling of marijuana needs to happen before we can start seeing some of these other companies and have farmers and the entire supply chain get federal, not just federal assistance, but allowed access to banking. So that rescheduling is going to be huge, and I think that's this is not going to be one of those false runs that we had previously with marijuana, where they would run up and then they would just completely sink down. And remember when Tilray was double digit, in the dollars, and now it's a penny. It's under $1 now. We need that rescheduling. So I think that we're seeing some more excitement into that possibility. But for me, we need to actually get that rescheduled before I'm going to even want to consider getting into any marijuana stocks. I'll probably end up being late, and that's fine, but I'm not going to get myself trapped, like those other companies could have done to so many other people.
Yeah, they've smoked those people, you might say. I'm actually old enough to remember the day that Tilray traded up to 300. What a wild day that was. That must have been 8 years ago or so. That Tilray move, absolutely crazy. I think you're spot on with the rescheduling of that particular drug. As far as ENVB goes, worth noting here that the pop today actually took us to the high end of the consolidation range that we spent from we were in, from the beginning of March. So there's definitely some resistance here. That can mean two things. The stock either reverses here, or if it breaks it here, we might have a juiced momentum trade to the upside. That's one of the things that we're going to have to watch if you want to play some of these smaller tickers. Moving on here, we've also got Zcar. Let me zoom in a little bit. Zcar here. This is Zoomcar Holdings. Zoomcar shares trading higher after the company announced it had partnered with Ease My Trip to integrate its cars within the travel platform. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what either of these companies do. I've never seen them. I've never looked into them. I don't know what the value add is here. This PR might as well be in Greek. I just don't know the business. I don't know how good this actually is. What I can tell you is that the chart formation in the pre-market looks pretty good, right? Had a couple of impulse moves, several legs up to the high of about 214-ish, looks like. We've kind of come back here, but we really haven't broke down, so to speak. We're kind of hugging right around that VWAP. This to me seems like there's going to be a move here that is tradable today. And we'll see if we end up hitting this one. Again, Zoomcar Holdings here gapping up on news. Zoomcar Holdings is India's largest marketplace for cars on rent. I've never driven a car. I've never been to India, so this would make sense why I'm not familiar with it. Zoomcar is leading emerging market-focused peer-to-peer car sharing marketplace. Approximately 21,000 registered vehicles. So it looks like they're folding in another app here to make this a little bit, I guess, more valuable. We'll see if Zoomcar ends up giving us a move here today. You got anything on Zcar? Zcar,
the ones that goes in Z Garage. We had something like this a couple of years back. That was like a not a ride sharing, but a car sharing businesses. A couple of them. They didn't work out. I don't know that this will be any different from in India's marketplace, but it has to do with self-driving, and that's another red flag for me because that hasn't worked out either.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've heard of those cruise vehicles that you see in some of these larger metropolitan areas. I know we have them in Austin, where they're autonomous.
Yeah, so actually, it's funny. When at my last trip to Arizona, I noticed several of the autonomous Waymo taxis, and I actually said to my Uber driver on the way to where I was staying, yeah, I'd never do that. He's like, yeah, those things are crazy. They're unpredictable at sometimes. So, no, I have seen those.
So those are my concerns, is that this is, going to just generate excitement, and then it's going to end up being nothing. The other problem that I have with this is that this is a company that has almost 61 million shares. Not as easy to move around, but shouldn't be overly difficult. They're not in the hundreds of millions of shares, but big question mark on this. We're going to get some trading opportunities, I think, but I don't know that they're going to be plentiful.
Okay, there you go on Zcar. Good stuff there. That's Fusion Zcar and ENVB Works. This is SC Works. This is actually trading up, making a pretty nice formation up here at about 258. That's ticker WORX. No news catalyst for this one, at least none that I can find. So this sure looks like this is kind of trading on technicals here. We'll see if this ends up trading up. It's worth noting we do have an intraday high here, 286. That came on March 12th. Of last week. So if we break the top off here in the pre-market, I think it's feasible to expect a 280 test at some point if that momentum maintains. That's ticker WORX.
Other than a 1.1 million share float, I don't have really anything on this one.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense. Lycy is the next one, ticker LICY. This is Li-Cycle Holding shares are trading higher after the company announced progress in improving its current liquidity position and considering an internal technical review of the Rochester hub. Okay, I can't really tell you if that's good or not. I will say that the market is obviously rewarding it as it popped again, but it is worth noting that it popped on considerable volume yesterday, likely to appear on relative volume scanners after hours, and then perhaps on the radars of day traders here this morning. So keep that in mind here. Really, the bottom end of the range here, 129 would be my out. I'd really want it to firm up. I would not be shocked if this kind of broke down today and really kind of retested that one level, which we consolidated above yesterday. So we'll see if Lycy has some strength here. Not my favorite play, but worth mentioning as it's up here today.
Interesting thing about this is that they had a 200 million mixed shelf offering on Friday. Then they reported earnings yesterday. And they also had an update about Glencore investing 75 million into Li-Cycle. So there's a number of positives here, but that shelf offering was interesting about how we didn't really move down a whole lot on it, and now we're continuing to rock it up. I'm not quite sure what that was about with the shelf offering. I think that's interesting. Maybe there's somebody else that could tell us more about that. But they have 120 million share float, and it's still moving pretty good with that size. But this could be interesting. I think this will provide some trades today. Just don't know how many, but this is definitely going to be on my radar for today.
Despite that float, this is actually already traded 1 million shares over its average volume. That hovers at around 6.5 million shares. We're already up above 7 here on Lycy, so definitely has some attention this morning. We'll see what kind of formation this makes. Now, the last one that I really had here is going to be ticker CERS. This is Ceres, and give me a sad trombone for this one. Holy smokes. Catalyst here. Ceres Corporation shares are trading higher after the company announced its ReCPL phase 3 trial of Intercept blood system met its primary efficacy endpoint. That popped the stock just above 3. It is retraced almost that entire move. An 80% retracement here on Ceres. It's doing its best to hold on to this $2 level. Given some of the other plays that we have here, this is one that I just am not really interested in. Worth noting, though, especially for smoked tuna out there, this might do its little bottoming formation thing where that kind of gives us a setup once the selling has been exhausted. So worth keeping on your radar there, ticker CERS. You got anything else on this one?
Phase 3 results, that usually means it's time to leave, because typically the next phase is they are looking for somebody to help manufacture their product and bring it to market. That's going to require a significant investment. They do have cash, but I don't know that it's going to be enough to complete what they're doing. And they have 175 million share float, so also not easy to move around. I agree with you. This is probably not something I'm going to really touch, because I think the news is done. And until they start making, I want to see some lower prices before I even decide I want to go long on this, for the possibility that they might be bringing this to market. I don't know when that's going to be. I don't even know if I want to even touch this at all. So we'll see.
Okay, we will see on CERS. Oh, looks like I broke my chart here on Lycy. Let's see if Lycy is actually moving here. Actually, I'm going to flip over to trade the pool. Let me get that back on here. Okay, we are just about a minute till we open here. I do want to address this. Kel saying, I'm from the South, but it seems like you talk so fast. Kel, this is not the first time that I've heard this. Couple of things real quick. Got a coworker that was from the South, and he says that I walk so fast, it's practically a run. So this is not the first time that I've heard that. I'm sorry. I do live life in the fast lane, and my morning starts with multiple cups of coffee. So that's probably an explanation here. The other thing is that we have a limited amount of time before the market opens. We want to get through as much as we can. It just kind of speeds up the talking there. If you ever need me to repeat something, I am happy to do that, though. So no worry about that. All right, we're about to open here. Tesla bouncing off that 170 right to the VWAP. Let's see what we get here today. Market is open. Market is open. Let's see what ENVB is doing out of the gate.
Smoke to it is funny. Watch YouTube on 2X, huh?
He's not the only person that does that. Okay, let's take a look at some of these other names that we had here from yesterday. Apple falling right out of the zone. Let's see if we back test that 174. I know you want this lower here, 13. Maybe an Apple short on deck here for today. Apple bouncing back to that. Let's take a look here at Google. That is back into its range. Let's take a look at Mara. That was the new one here from today. Okay, Mara breaking out of the top side of the range here. Let's see if Mara kind of comes back. I would like this candle to finish just to give us kind of a clean move here. I don't necessarily want to buy within the first 5 minutes here, only to be head faked.
We are getting a mention by Webcoin PTPI. This is something we have traded in the past.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really see the movement out the gate here, but I do see in the pre-market we had a run up to 179. So this one could be something that we can trade.
Zcar here looks like that tried to break its VWAP and was rejected, going lower here. Jonathan mentioned MSTR, MicroStrategy here, a little bit of a knife, so a leg lower here off to pre-market, off those pre-market lows, excuse me, right around the opening here on MSTR.
Looking to see if Lycee, okay, it did. I was looking to see if it's going to go lower here and create an opportunity here to go long. But I think if it comes down to about this pre-market, well, that's not pre-market, that's after hours consolidation, we could possibly get a bounce here. So I'll be watching this level under about 115 for a bounce.
Works going here. We talked about that pre-market double top that was broken down here. Big volume candle here on Works. As a reminder, the next level up here is going to be at about 285, 286 on Works. That's only 20 cents away. Works looks like it's going here. Nice call on that, Miles. JW, this is interesting. So I actually want to get your opinion on this because I've played some of these before with mixed results. So let's talk about this.
I got a split, so okay. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Sounds good. 13 will be joining us, folks. Don't worry. He was not let go. Got some family issues to attend to. We love you, 13. We'll see you right back here pretty soon. Now I've got to figure out this silly thing. Let's see. How do I do this here? Where's my producer? Here we go. Can I switch these? Bang. There we go. Okay. Jay mentioning Nordstrom's here. That's ticker JWN, going private chatter here. So Jay, this is kind of what I want to discuss. First of all, you can see the move right off the open. First note here real quick on this. A lot of the times when we get rumors and stuff like this, Charlie will actually squawk this. I know an entire community of day traders that play these moves. The stock moved from just under 17 up to 1766 here. And it is halted. All right. So it is halted here at 1766. So I know a lot of day traders that play this right off the squawk. But what I'm interested in here, Jay, is when you see going private chatter here, how do you normally trade this? Now, the thought here, I'm guessing on your part, is that there's talk maybe going private, maybe it's going to get bought out, should get bought out at a premium. That's why the stock trades up. How do you position yourself? How do you end up managing that trade once you're in it when you're dealing with rumors like this? We'll see what JWN does when it actually opens here. But good stuff there. Great call, too. I don't have the squawk on today in my ear. I generally don't do that when I have even more responsibility with the show. So if you folks hear anything, definitely call it out. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. The Crow, good morning, my man. ENVB getting called here by the Crow, saying Crow thinks this is going 2+. Sure looks like that's the case here. Nice power move off the open to highs. Looks like they're bringing in some size on this one. So we'll see if this comes back to the VWAP and sets up on ENVB. Jay is saying that the Nordstrom's here, this is not the first time that it's had these rumors to go private. That is indeed correct. Again, this is kind of why I'm asking, like, how do you trade something like this? Like, how do you reconcile the data coming out? How do you treat the rumor? And then ultimately, how do you expose yourself to that risk? Miles mentioning that Hoth is where it was. So we'll set a course for the Hoth system here, and we'll take a look at this. This actually is coming up off the pre-market lows. We'll see if the VWAP gets taken out here. I've got VWAP at 156. Volume looking pretty good. Actually still expanding. I know we just opened, but it's still expanding here. Little bit of size at 160 if we do get over that VWAP. Not a whole lot on the offer on that way up, though. Hoth trading up here. Yeah, Humble Ninja. So what this means, what going private means, is that they're no longer a publicly traded stock. So some private entity, like a private equity company, ends up purchasing all of the outstanding shares, and then the stock no longer trades as it goes private. The reason that this is important is because if you're able to buy it at, let's say, 16 and it goes private at, let's say, 21, I'm just making up those numbers, that's a pretty nice trade there, and you get your shares get paid for. So that's why people are trying to trade these. That's why I'm grateful that Jay brought this up. Mark, like Twitter. Exactly. Twitter did this exact same thing. But also, Mark, might as well mention here, all you Twitter viewers out there, we love having people from the Twitter streets in the show. You folks are absolutely awesome. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. And if you really want to help us for absolutely no cost at all, you can roll over to our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, type in Benzinga, and like and sub to our show here. That helps us keep going and doing this for absolutely nothing. Jeremy, great to see you back. 15% trade off of work. Now, was that work or was that works? I think that's works. I think that's just a typo, but that's okay. I speak trader, Jeremy. No big deal. Look at this move right out of the open here. Works pushing up into that high. Great job on this one. Also, great job selling into strength. This is something that we discussed recently. When you have some of these pops on some of these smaller names, it is always worth selling into strength. You have no idea when some of these are going to come back in. Actually, I think we had a really good example here yesterday from Becca, who sold into this strength on STI. Look at this stock. It just really sold off and never actually came back there. So real good stuff there, Jeremy. Love how you played that one. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay, let me flip around. I've been doing too much talking and not enough looking at the charts. Apple fell out of that range. We'll see if we get a back test here of 174. That actually might give us short entry if it doesn't break that. Google looked like it was trying to go to the top end of that range. This has actually fallen out. Let's see if Google ends up moving lower here. Here's the one thing. I think I'm expecting more news regarding AI coming out of Google, whether it's by itself or as this pertains to Apple and the news that we got yesterday on Apple. So keep an eye on Google, because I think that, you know, you could get some type of AI piece of news that has this thing gap up multiple points. And so if it looks like you've got a short setup and it goes into the closed week and traders take that short, look out for one of those face rips to the upside here. What I will say, though, is that if Google comes back to 149 and really struggles to get above that level, that might provide some decent short entry here. Ticker GOOG. Next here that we had a setup was Mara, and darn it, it actually looks like this one was pretty good. We rocketed through that upside range, and it does look like we came back here and tested it and are trying to move higher. We don't have a whole lot of movement, so this wasn't necessarily a banger trade, but it does look like the setup was there. We'll see if Mara tries to go higher here. Bitcoin doing a really good job holding in here. I've got that futures price at 63,865 CBOE futures for Bitcoin. All right, let's see if Mara comes back in to this VWAP. I've got this VWAP at what? Is that 34? It looks like 1834. Maybe we'll take an opening position here, see if we get another bounce on Mara. Okay, I'm going to try some right here. It's going to kind of be a risky trade here. If we fall back towards the bottom end of this range, that'll probably be my stop. Long Mara here. We'll see if we get a bounce off the VWAP. I will say I do kind of think this one might be a little bit riskier than some of these other setups that we've taken a look at. But we shall see. And I think what I'll do here, especially since I'm alone, is I'm just going to go ahead and set a stop straight up. And then that way, let's see what do we have here. Yeah, let's go right under that level. All right, right under that level. Now I should be able to flip around here. Let's see if Mara ends up bouncing here. If it doesn't, we'll get out of this with a paper cut. If we get a big move in Bitcoin like we've seen recently, we should be able to cash this thing for a gain. Let's see if we trade up towards that 19 handle here on Mara. Rustam, good morning, my man. Good to see you. Good morning, everyone. Ryan, 13 PBM worth attention. Let's take a look. PBM, I feel like we have traded that one quite a bit here. This not really doing much of anything here today. Since this last pop here, what was this, March 14th? This thing has done nothing but bleed. Maybe we are forming a bottom here, Rustam, for a quick trade. But what we need to do is we really need to see that volume. Something needs to come in here and change the way this thing is trading. It's very, very flat, very, very low volume. But it does look like maybe it has stopped breaking down. Jeremy saying, time to go to the day job. Already made more than my whole shift off that one trade. Jeremy, I absolutely love hearing stories about this. Congratulations. And also bonus points for you kind of doing something on the side as like a side hustle. That's the type of scrappy nature I really, really appreciate. One thing that I will say, folks, is that if you're looking to go to trading to replace your full-time job, please plan for it. Make sure that you have plenty of funds. Don't be allured by the siren song, if you will. Oh, I can make all this money and I never have to report to a boss again. It's cool if you can make that work. It is much, much harder than it appears on the surface. So keep that in mind. Good job here this morning, Jeremy. Okay, let's take a look at SMCI and Nvidia. I think I've neglected them long enough, huh, Jay? Right now, Jay's saying so far, Nvidia and SMCI have not bottomed. Now, this is important because I do think we're going to get another trade in both of these names. We are in the infancy of AI. These two names have been extreme AI names. There's definitely going to be more trades here. Jay, what I would ask, what type of trading action or what are you looking for this to bottom? Is it a moving average level? Is it some type of trading activity? Are you looking for multiple downgrades where the stock doesn't sell off that day? What are you kind of looking for here for a bottom? Because that's something I'd be interested in as well. Chuck, looks like you took some stuff there off Nvidia put, so you're playing Nvidia to the downside here. Nvidia looks like that first pop there popped us right back to actually just above the after hours range, and here we go. New lows coming on Nvidia, it looks like. Good stuff there. Look at this. Martin, in works 294, out at 343. That is a great little scalp trade here this morning. You will get a register ring and a one-up. Nice job, dude. Great trade. This is how we start. Mystery Man said, yeah, I'm telling you, man, the desire to kind of do this for yourself, the desire to work for yourself, that burns really, really strong in me. And that's why trading really kind of scratches that itch. But I'm telling you, don't put yourself in a position where you kind of got to go back and now you're not sure how you're going to make ends meet. Just plan accordingly, plan your way through it. Pixie getting mentioned here. Pixie worth watching. Pixie, didn't this have an offering here this morning? Let me actually check the news here on Pixie. I did see something this morning, but I can't remember. Trading lower after the company priced a $5 million offering priced at the market. So Pixie here, interestingly enough, this traded lower in the pre-market. We're actually back to the top end of the after hours consolidation area. Let's see if Pixie finds some resistance here or about that 7 level. Currently at 663 here on Pixie. Mara, let's check in on Mara. Looks like this trade is going against me here. So we're moving to the bottom end of that range. Let's see if we bounce off that range or if we just get stopped out here. Might have just been a little too early here on Mara. When I look over at Bitcoin, that chart is also trading down. But again, here on Bitcoin hasn't broken that channel yet. So maybe this is not out of the woods yet. We'll see here on Mara. I will update you if I am stopped out here. This trade, unfortunately, not working yet. Let's take a look at Google. Okay, that broke down. Man, I tell you what. So Google, this is the story. Missed this yesterday for a little bit because I traded a different one. It looks like we got another great setup here today that we missed. So it looks like maybe a 1.25 point move here on Google off that 149. Let's see. For all of you that were trading SQQQ, I know we talked to Matt Malley yesterday on the show regarding SQQQ. Looks like this is obviously drifting up here with the market selling off here today. Tech pulling back, SQQ looking really, really appealing. Maybe this has bottomed. If we look at the 15-minute chart here, looks like we've got a top right at about 1146. I know it's tough to do technical analysis on some of these ETFs, especially the ones that are levered, but there we go. See what else you folks are taking a look at here. My scanner's not really lighting up with anything. The biggest one on there is Works. Looks like that trade, at least temporarily, is over. Although maybe we're taking another leg higher here. Let's see. I'm consolidating here. A little bit of size there at 340 and a little bit more there. What was that? 349, I think, on that one. Here we go on Works. It's coming back into its VWAP. VWAP at 309. Let's see if it holds 3 there on Works. I'm going to flip around to some other ones. ENVB, this was another one that we had on watch. That made a move above the pre-market range, and now it's pulling back. Let's see where this thing settles out. ENVB. JWN, which was halted earlier. Look at that, man. Right out of the halt. Another leg higher here. JWN. Is this halted again? No, this has only been halted once. JWM still ripping above 19 here on Nordstrom. See if we can get another level in here. Some resistance right here, actually, just above 19, it looks like. And then maybe some more at about 21. Nordstrom's there. GNS also on the scanner. I know we've traded that one here before. Genius Group. Oh, this is just a penny stock. Forget it. SPIR appearing on the scanner. This is Spire Global. Nice little move here, although this looks like this has already kind of moved away. Seeing Nvidia calls come in here. MSTR calls come in here. Interesting. It looks like they're buying that. Buy it into the lows here, maybe. Maybe Nvidia's turning around. Let me bring up SMCI so I can keep an eye on that on another chart here. Okay. Hanging in there on Mara. Haven't been stopped out yet. See if that materializes here. SMCI looks like that is also trying to bottom out here. We'll see if that holds. Jay giving us some other names to consider here off the JWN talks. The UAA here is Under Armour Class A shares. This looks like this is kind of rolling over here. VFC, I think, was the other one that you had here. VF Corporation, that's kind of flat. KSS, the other one you have in here, and then Macy's. Kohl's doing pretty well here today. Let's take a look at Macy's. Macy's holding this pop here. It's actually pretty strong here today. Here's Zcar. Looks like it's going back to Z Garage as this continues to use the VWAP as resistance and roll over here on Zcar. Yikes. PTPI, Webcoin saying it looking like this might go. Doesn't have the volume yet, Webcoin. Really want to see this volume kind of expand here. NCMI, this is about a $5 stock. Actually, this is a fairly interesting setup here. I'm going to check for news here on this one. This we got what, maybe 545, let's call it 550, some resistance here. NCMI, let me see if I can get any news on what was going on here. National Sin Media trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results and announced a $100 million share repurchase program. Okay, so there you go. Get another buyback on top of some good earnings. That's driving NCMI higher here. This will be interesting to see if this can actually pop the top end of this range. Right back to VWAP here. Looks like Jay Summers, scalping works. You folks don't even need help with that. You got all those levels figured out. Love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Look around and see what else. And get my bearings here. VXRT. It's like this did pop here. Okay, interesting. How's Hoth doing? Hoth actually back to its VWAP and above. See a little bit of size here at 163 and 167, if that can keep going. How about Sound? That was a recent. Okay, this one looks like this is kind of rolling over. This actually trading with Nvidia. How's Nvidia holding up here? Let's see. Nvidia, maybe that bottom is in, at least temporarily for today. Kevin saying, watch 167 on Tesla. Let's do that. Let's actually take a look at Tesla here. Tesla pounding the lows. Okay. So this is good at the bottom end of this range. Actually, I'm kind of interested on this one. Let's see what Tesla does here. By the way, also looking like I'm very close to getting stopped out on this Mara trade. What a bummer. We'll still give that some time here. Let's see what Tesla does. So far, it looks like it's trying to bounce off 168. Lynn and Randy, what levels do you have for Tesla here? I know you guys trade this every day. Yeah, I would agree with you, AC. I think that it's probably weak here. Was trying to play that for a bounce. I don't really think I'm going to get it here. We're right at the stop out point. We're right at the stop out point here. Now, Tesla, let's see if this can hold here. If this breaks, I'd love to see a bounce and kind of shake out some of the weaker hands before we actually resume lower. Tesla, all kinds of red selling candles here on Tesla. Right at that 168. Let's see what happens here at 168 on Tesla. If you folks have anything else that you're looking at, definitely go ahead and call it. Lynn saying 165, your target on Tesla. So are you trying to look at a long side trade if 165 holds? That's what I'm gathering from that. Correct me if I'm incorrect. 168 here, definitely the intraday low. There's some size there. We'll see if that holds. Trying to bounce. Looking around. Some other stuff here. Actually, it looks like we'll come back to Tesla real quick. I wanted to take a look at Apple, see where that is. Oh, that AAPB. What on earth is that? Here's Apple. So it looks like this is actually bouncing back to that 174 area. Let's see if we can get there. Apple actually a pretty strong candle right here. As mentioning, works again. I feel like this might give us some trades all day. Is doing a really good job here in this flag, consolidating. Would love to see this break higher here. Let's see, 335. Looking at the level 2 here, there's some size above, but none of it's really big. That goes up through 340. See if that can get taken here on works. Volume still looking good. Stopped out of Mara there. Bummer. So 0 for 1 here today. We played the setup. Looks like it actually, we'll see. We'll see if it stops here on Mara. 165 long for Tesla if we can get it. Okay, we'll see if we end up getting there. And you know what? You might not get that here today. So we broke down through 168. That was the spot that we're looking at here. Let's actually see if this can give us a retest and a reshort entry on Tesla. VIX is doing a decent job holding in. Let me take a look at SMCI. That maybe put in its intraday bottom. NVDA maybe put in its intraday bottom right there. Some other stuff here. How's Amazon doing? I feel like we haven't looked at Amazon in a little bit. Amazon positive today, but really nothing to speak of yet. 15-minute chart shows probably some more resistance right here where we're at. Let's see if Amazon can maintain its strength here today. All right, folks, I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday morning. Let me know if you guys see it. It does definitely seem a little bit slower. And that, I guess that we're kind of anticipating that going into the Fed decision tomorrow. SPIR, thank you. We actually took a little bit. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't have taken this one off my screen here. Did they have news last night? I feel like they must have. Let me take a look at that. That is actually at the top of my relative. Good call here, LY. Lee, LY, however it's supposed to be pronounced. Spire Global shares trading higher if the company reported a collaboration with Nvidia to advance AI-driven weather prediction. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wait. I didn't there. Here we go. So here it is. Here's that piece that we've talked about this one quite a bit. And actually, you know what? Now that I look at this, this is really decent trade right up here off that pre-market range. A breakthrough 15 here. We're actually 3.5 points higher than that break spot here. SPIR. Shoot, missed that one. Great if you hit this one though. This is a good call. Darren's asking if we checked Meta yet. Good call, Darren. No, we haven't. I generally, and again, if you guys want to see stocks, shout them out. What I will say here on Meta is I don't like this company, so I generally don't check it very often. What I will say here, clean bounce, at least so far off this 480 level. This was from Friday of last week on Meta. See if it holds here. If it does, you might get a move back towards that 490 on Meta. That actually might be a decent day trade too. I appreciate you mentioning this, Darren. Even though I don't like this stock, we got to put some of our feelings aside, see if there's money to be made. Let me go back to trade the pool real quick. Oops, I think it's this one. There we go. Okay. SPIR. Let's see if this actually gives a setup here at VWAP. SPIR. Looks like Jay Summers still scalping work over there. Absolutely love it. Juni, taking a look at SOUN. I'm going to come back to SPIR here, but let's take a look at SOUN. Might have a VWAP reclaim here. I've got that VWAP at 785 on SOUN. SPIR here building above that VWAP, although it is kind of weakening here. Volume still looks decent. Spread's kind of nasty on this one. How's Hoth holding up? Okay, not breaking down. Higher lows beneath the VWAP. Let's see if we pop through that. That'd be something to watch if it can do it. Nvidia back to VWAP. Now looking at the market here, market definitely lower. It's trying to bounce, but it really doesn't have that juice. Dow is the only thing that's higher here. How's the IWM doing today? IWM weak. That's kind of what it feels like. Did you say PETA? Oh, PETQ. PETQ. Sorry. Hard to read off that monitor. That's my fault. This is Pet IQ here. Lycee, oh, that was the other small one. I took that one off my radar here. Lycee back to the VWAP. Let's take a look at SPIR. Looks like that cracked to the VWAP. Okay, so here we go. Do we hold or do we break here? SPIR. This spread's pretty nasty. This is not something that fits my trading plan. Spread pretty big here. Ticker SPIR. Yeah, so Jensen Huang will be on CNBC. I'm not surprised. Looks like they're doing an interview with Kramer. Did I get that right? Moments away. CNBC exclusive. Jensen Huang, the Nvidia CEO, coming up here. That actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Nvidia moves on that. We should definitely take a look at that. In fact, let me bring Nvidia into another screen here so I can kind of keep one eye on it. That way I hopefully won't miss things. Nvidia back to VWAP. Wonder if we get a trade here. Hoth, this actually does look like this is trying to go here. I'm tempted, or I'm hesitant to say that I like this just because I've actually been hurt by this stock myself in the past. Some size right here, 159, 160. If that pops, I think this probably goes, but there's some decent size there. 160, definitely your spot here on Hoth. Here we go. 160 up. They took it. Let's see if this has the juice to move here. Do we get a yank back down to balance, or do we actually pop and go? A little bit more size here at 167, but that's meager compared to what we just took at 159 and 160. I don't think that's going to provide much resistance. Volume candle looks good here on this 3-minute chart. About to get a MACD cross positive. Hoth, actually, this might be good. Smoke Tuna, you in this one? I feel like this is a Smoke Tuna special. Ooh, Apple with a pretty big bounce here. Keep your eye on Hoth. 161 seems to be the spot now. Did not have that juice when we cleared out 160. Maybe it'll be stronger on the second attempt. Apple back into the channel here, bouncing off the pre-market lows. That was pretty decent. Hasn't set a newer high yet, so I don't feel great about Apple to the upside here unless it's able to do that. Scott mentioning that Lycee is moving. Lycee did push through that VWAP here. Yeah, Lynn is mentioning that Kramer is actually in Silicon Valley and Jensen is his buddy. We had a discussion about NVIDIA last night. Jensen was giving a keynote speech, I believe, during the happy hour show. And one of the people that was listening to it was like, man, this guy is trying to send this thing to the moon. Very, very like over the top. I don't want to say pumpy because I don't really think he's doing anything bad. I think just AI is what it is. But it just definitely kind of felt like that. Lycee, by the way, pulling back here to the VWAP on Lycee. ENVB, that looks like a slow grind away from its VWAP. Interesting. Let's take a look at Hoth here. Still holding up at that 155, 160 level. Needs to hold this, though. We've seen Hoth fall out of bed here. RB, did you hear that? What were your thoughts on that? It felt like he was trying to like over dramatize how important it was going to be. And I'm not one to criticize. I mean, I don't fully understand AI. This is the CEO of Nvidia. I'm not trying to doubt him, but it just felt like that. It felt like he had a little bit extra in that. I like these. We play these trivia questions occasionally, Jay. This is a good one. Tuesday trivia. What leader in its industry is hitting all-time highs that not many talk about? Hint, it's in the financials. I don't know this one off the top of my head. Anyone got a guess? Anyone got a guess for our man Jay here? By the way, Hoth, Smoke Tuna saying Hoth needs a flush before he's interested in it. I feel that. I really, really do. Hoth actually again took out that high by 2 cents and did not move. So it just doesn't have this upside juice yet. Here's 165. Starting to see some bigger offers ahead of it. See if it's got the strength here. Smoke Tuna, I'm with you. I'd actually want this to be... I'd want this to pull back here. JPM is correct. So there you go. Whoever that was. Let's see. Brett with the first guess here. It looks like RB hit that one as well. One up for both of you guys. Jay, always love trivia questions. Always love trivia questions. Oh, excuse me. Let me check the Twitter streets here. I know we've got all of our Twitter viewers in here. Let's see what Twitter is trading. OTRK, first stock that I just saw from my financial group on FinTwit. OTRK is a penny stock. I will pass on this one. SOUN being mentioned, so you guys were already on top of that. VWAP reclaim here, SOUN. GCT, another one being mentioned here. This is GigaCloud Tech. Oh, this is continuing to fall here. CSPI, this is top of this one, very thin, not looking great. I don't see a whole lot there from the Twitter streets. Hoth continuing to try and push higher here. 170 seems to be that new spot. 165 your intraday high. Yeah, this is part of it, Lynn. So Lynn mentioning here, the big news is that Nvidia is a B2B play with the best chips in class. Big players will pay to play to get their hands on Nvidia chips. And actually, let me see if I can read you the list of names. By the way, Meta, we got asked about Meta earlier. I just took a look at that chart again. Meta doing a really good job holding that low from what was this, Monday? This was the 15th, right? March 15th. Today is Tuesday. So that was Friday. Beg your pardon. And the birthday's got me all screwed up here. Meta, this actually doing a really good job of holding those Friday lows. We bounced pretty clean off of that. We'll see if this resumes lower. Let me see if I can get you a list of those Nvidia stocks that Lynn is talking about. That actually came out in the keynote yesterday. There were a couple of them in here. And here, just so I don't look like I'm trying to pass a kidney stone or something, here's what I'm looking at. There we go. Here we go. Live in NVIDIA keynote, Jensen Huang says, many organizations expected to adopt the Blackwell, such as Amazon Web Services, Google, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, Oracle, Tesla, and Zhai. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Basically listing some of the biggest tech companies in the world saying that they are going to adopt the Blackwell architecture. Those are those new chips that Lynn and Randy are talking about. These are huge clients, folks. I mean, these are the biggest in the world. Dell also mentioned there. I think I skipped right over that one. But that's what's going on here. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if NVIDIA posts these ridiculous numbers again, especially if we get pull through on any of these orders from some of these companies. But let's go back to trade the pool. Oh, I keep going to the wrong one here. Here we go. Meta actually reclaiming its VWAP. Mystery Man, take care of yourself. Really appreciate it. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow for Fed minutes or pre-trading for the Fed meeting. Okay, let me take a look back here. Didn't see anything great on Twitter yet. Let's see here. One of the bigger stocks here that's actually making a pretty powerful move here, didn't give me a setup, was Amazon. This off the pre-market lows, real strong here on Amazon. I think the chip costs are huge too. RB, you're absolutely right on that. Again, some of these numbers you really can't even wrap your arms around. And I think that that's one of the reasons that NVIDIA trades with such strength in both directions. Smoke Tuna giving you an alert here. ENVB adding at the bottom. Let's take a look here. This is going to be one of those smaller stocks here. Smoke Tuna looks like the MACD histogram here is compressing on the negative side. These lines that are pitching down look to be slowing up here. This also corresponds with one of the lows from the pre-market on ENVB. And you got about 15 cents to move back to the VWAP, maybe a pop above here. Smoke Tuna, keep us on that. I'm going to stay away from this one. Adobe being mentioned. I haven't even looked at Adobe yet today. Appreciate that mention. Okay, Adobe, this is actually in that range too. Okay, good call here, Paul. Appreciate this one. Let's see if we actually get a setup here on Adobe. Actually, it did pop through this and back tested this a little bit. And that's a pretty decent setup. Let's see if we come back in there. I don't want to buy it here because I feel like I'm definitely late to this. Paul, this was a great call. This was another one that we had a prior range for. And remember, Adobe right here at 516, we are actually in this gap. So maybe we do actually try and fill this back to the upside here on Adobe. Coming back to 560. So here we go. So this is right at that level. But this might even come back to VWAP. I've got VWAP here at about 514 on Adobe. Oh my God. Jay Summers is out here just abusing ticker works. Literally the ATM move right here. Just withdraw. Works actually popping back up to the top end of the range here. I see some size here about 350 on Works, ticker WORX. Wave D being mentioned. That was one from yesterday, one of the smaller names from yesterday. Interesting. Look at this slow curl. Volume, not much to speak of EKS here, but really good movement so far. Hoth pulled. So is this the flush smoke tuna was waiting for? Let's see if Hoth continues to pull and settle out here about 135. AUGX, another stock here. Okay, look at this one. This actually might go. Let's see if this pot. What was there news on this? Let me look this up in Pro real quick. AUGX. Augmetics shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results and issued guidance. Let's see if we get a move through 4 here. AUGX. Caleb, you're watching Etsy. We'll take a look at that here as well. Let me check Lycee first. Wiss, how was the golf tournament on the weekend? Were you on 17? I looked for you, but I only have your one YouTube picture to go off of, so I don't think I saw you out there. But let me know how it was. Did you have a good time? Lycee here still through that VWAP. What was that other ticker that you mentioned? Etsy, ETSY. Etsy here, interesting. Let's see if this bottoms and makes a move back to the VWAP. Decent here, about $1.50 of range there if you play this VWAP regression to the mean. Take a look at Works. This one's putting in work. Look at that. Pop right through that, and they yanked it back here, but bang. Nice job there on Works. How many of you guys hit this one? Works, I'm trying to stay, oops, I accidentally pressed that. Trying to stay away from some of these smaller names here, but Works, this one good. Oh, look at Miles. Miles, you doing okay over there, my man? Let's go on Works. Works out at 358. Jane Smith ringing that register. Let's go. Let's go. Great little curl off the VWAP here. Nice little volume expansion into that move. Love that you guys are paying yourself into the move. Oh, that is awesome. Works looking like it's trying to go higher here too. Wispy, thanks on Works. You're welcome. But as always, don't forget, folks, you guys are the ones that are taking risk. You guys are the ones that are accepting the risk of that trade plan. You also deserve a pat on the back for your execution. Jensen Huang is live here now on CNBC. I can't hear what he's saying. He is live here, though. Stock now through the VWAP, looking like it's trying to go higher. You folks are crushing Works here today. Look at this. Get another register ring here. It made a millisecond. Don't you hate that? There have been times, Miles, where I throw an order out there, and sometimes on some of these smaller, it'll be like 2, 3, 4,000 shares. I'll throw the order out there, and it will literally, the price, like in the moment that I throw that order out there, the price goes right above it. And then I'm sitting there like, do I pull it? Yeah, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if it gets filled. And then it starts running away, and I'm like, oh, been there, man. Been there. Been there. Nvidia holding up here. Not volatile yet, but that might not be over. Tesla here bouncing off that 168. Tesla, let's see if it moves back to that 171 level here. Does he have his leather jacket? Yeah, that is a leather of some sort. It almost, maybe it's just the feed that I have here, but it almost looks like croc skin. Could that be right? Yes, he does have his leather jacket, Jonathan. Yes. Tesla back to VWAP here on Tesla. Apple actually really strong here today. So Apple, this is interesting. So that short there, that short worked if you were kind of playing the impulse move. Remember, what I was looking for is a back test and then a move down. But actually, it didn't last. It just bounced off the pre-market lows. All right, Shady's back again. Look, man. I mean, our company's headquartered in Detroit. We're gonna have M&M.
All right.
At least I didn't go with mom's spaghetti.
My palms are sweaty.
Amazon continuing to push highs here. So 13. Just to kind of recap you here on some of the trading action. First of all, our chat is absolutely abusing ticker WORX. That is, of the smaller stocks here, that is definitely the stock du jour. We had the power move out of the gate, VWAP retest here. We actually broke it and reclaimed it on good volume. Then we had the expanding volume push us to highs. Looks like we actually traded above 4. A number of traders here slapping that register, ringing it out here. Love to see it. Money being made here. Ticker works.
Good. Wear that bell out on the register.
What's that?
Wear that bell out on the register.
Oh, we'll wear it out. All right. Works here pulling back. This actually might give us another setup. Also, 13, we did set a course for the Hoth system. We did break, of course, above the VWAP. Now we've actually broken beneath it. But so far, not out of the woods yet. So far, held those pre-market lows. I've got that value at 134 on Hoth.
I'm a little sad to come back and see that, well, because I couldn't take the trade. But LICY, it held up on that 200 EMA, which is where that after hours consolidation was that I was talking about just before I left. That would have been a good trade if I was able to stick around. It looks like it's setting up to go higher than 145. Right
X moving higher. This is, of course, U.S. Steel. Just kind of saw that. Here's back to LICY. What do you think about a pullback to the VWAP here? You like a setup on a potential VWAP bounce?
I mean, I think it's getting ready to move soon. I don't know that. I mean, your VWAP is a little bit lower than. No, it's about the same.
I got it at 132. If it's hard to see.
Okay, so I have it at 130.
Okay.
But I think it's trying to get ready to go again. It's holding up some of these other EMAs that are just above the VWAP. Most importantly, the 65 EMA. So if we can hold above that and then move up into the over 145, that'd be great.
Really quickly here, CERS. This looks like this might be coming up off the bottom here. 192 seems to be that spot. We're currently at 191. Smoke Tuna, looks like this is one of your bottom formations here. We talked about this one, that catalyst. I mean, this not only did this completely retrace the move, it went negative. Look at this thing. Here we are, 190 on CERS. I actually have a pretty decent 34 cents here on a move back to the VWAP. This looks like it's curling. Doesn't have the volume yet, but it does have that MACD flip over to the positive on the histogram. And those signal lines are now starting to pitch up here on CERS. I wonder if this meets your criteria for a bottomed out chart, Smoke Tuna.
And somebody had mentioned Root being potentially a short today. If you shorted that out of the open, you're probably still doing really well. I don't know that this is going to continue. We've seen this plenty of times where it comes down out of the open, but then later on it just turns around and starts going back up. I don't know that this is the end for Root. I'll just say that.
SMCI at lows. Let's check it on Nvidia. By the way, 13, I don't know if you caught this, but Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, actually on with Kramer on CNBC giving a live interview now. So I'm not sure that anything new is going to come out of this interview because they're currently going through a conference, but something to keep in mind in case you see some dramatic movement in the stock price there on Nvidia. So far, it's just pinned at its VWAP at the moment. Smoke Tuna is saying CERS is not ready yet. Okay, so not ready yet. One of the things that I don't know what exactly what Tuna's looking at here, but what I will say is that what I'd like to see, if you get volume to flow into this name, I think we probably make a test to pop back to that VWAP here.
I don't think a whole lot of us watch Don Lemon, Carmen, but I'll check it out and stomach it just because I like to see what Musk says sometimes, especially when he's talking about advertisers and Disney.
Yeah, he's funny. I tell you what, 13, I'll just be public about this. I'll let you watch it and tell me if it's worth watching, and then, then I'll go check it out. By the way, I've adopted the Tucker stance. I call him Don Lemon because that just sounds funny to me, but he's a clown. Anyway, AUGX, we talked about this one a little bit earlier here. This moving away from the VWAP did actually take 4. We can see if it goes higher here. AISP, this has given us a number of trades recently. This actually moving to the top end. To the top end of yesterday's high. We got that at what, 1381. So, okay, so got another 40 cents here. AISP looking pretty decent here today, though. Musk crushed lemonade. That was a Randy joke. I didn't even need to ask. I know not only was that a Randy joke, but I know that after he composed that, he had this nice little grin on his face. I've seen that before. Not my first rodeo, Randy. That's a good one.
How's the broader market looking? Are we still on a low volume print here?
So the broader market is actually holding up here. The Dow was the only thing positive earlier. NASDAQ still lower here, but fractionally, not even or just about 0.5%. And the SPY here down less than 0.5%. So the market is holding in, but the volume numbers, let me see if I can actually get you those volume numbers here.
Gross volume. Not even 10 million yet? Jeez.
7.2. We have 10% of the daily volume traded here in the first 45 minutes. 10%. Order flows. We were taking a look at SPIR, and this is why I rely on you guys so much, because I took that off my screen. Now, SPIR had a really good initial move here. We've actually broken beneath the VWAP. We'll see if this is the current bottom here. Volume starting to dry up. Would love to see the volume expand again. I don't know if this is a buy here. I'm not getting any signal from the MACD chart here. I don't really have a great price level. I mean, I guess this is kind of one, but it's not great. An SPIR, clear spot there on the top side, clear spot there on the VWAP. I'm just not sure that the down move here is done.
PTPI looks, I mean, the volume's not great in this one, but it's trying to take out this 158 level that I have here.
Yeah, this was a curl up off the lows. Let's see if it can take VWAP out. ENVB, this is another one that we were watching here today. This one might be curling. This MACD histogram looks like it's about to go green, and those signal lines looking like they might start to pitch up here. ENVB.
Looks like LICY. I mean, it's the volume's again not great in this one either, but it looks like it wants to go back up to 145.
AISP volume looks pretty decent there. The LICY price action here, 13, looks pretty good. I agree with you on the volume, but the levels in the price action here on LICY look pretty good.
Anybody trade lit this morning?
That's ticker LYT.
It's also very low volume, slow moving, but it's
but it's holding in there. Yeah,
it's holding in there. Yeah.
X Sniper saying looks like Works is the winner. I got to agree with you, man. Here, this had multiple legs up here. Nice VWAP retest that gave pretty good entry. Multiple pockets of the expanding volume that we're looking for. Oh, APM is that? I think it was PBM that Rustam was asking about earlier. APM here. This looks like this did push up. Back tested VWAP. Let me just check PBM real quick. Yeah, we still didn't get the volume that we were looking for there. Yeah, Jay Summers, the other thing that I've noticed about some of these smaller names here, when they work right out of the gate, like Works did, we had that push right out of the open here, then the back test in the second leg. When it does that, a lot of the times when it starts to like dry up, it becomes more volatile. You really don't get those moves anymore. So you might have actually exhausted the Works ATM here, at least for the time being. Definitely worth keeping on your list of stocks here. We'll check in and see if this gets an afternoon run. Carmen, no one is surprised. Carmen, your swings on some of these smaller stocks has been quite impressive. SIGA, we talked about this one the day that it really started to make its first move, kind of took it off. If you take a look at the 15-minute chart up here, you can see this stock just goes up every day. So Carmen, great stuff there. Let me know where you're going to book those gains on that. Great stuff on that.
PTPI going higher.
Smoke tuna out. ENVB looks like that one did not work here, right? So we did not get that bounce. That just so I understand your trade here, Smoke tuna, that kind of weakened after your entry, and you just cutting it before it gets bad, right?
ZCAR might be coming down to a bottom here. It's down in the regular session from yesterday, the consolidation that we got. So there could be potentially a bounce here at about 120.
Fusion not really moving. Remember, this was a takeover order flow, so I'm not sure that there's going to be necessarily a trade there. PTPI worth watching here as we tested that VWAP and broke above it. Now we're kind of holding that. So maybe PTPI trades a little bit higher here. Okay, so we've got ASPI, which is Aspire Real Estate. That's trading up here. And then we have AISP, which is also trading up here. That's that airship stock that we've been trading. So be careful with that. Some real close tickers. Be very, very careful. One stock's 13, the other's 4. So I would use that.
What was that real estate one that you just said?
ASIP. Oh, wait a sec. ASPI. See, it's the same letters. It's the same letters, just rearranged differently. So ASPI is the Aspire Real Estate Investors.
Okay.
SPIR looks like this might be coming back in here. That didn't make any move towards its VWAP.
You said ASPI is it says it's delisted. I mean, maybe I didn't hear you correctly.
ASPI, Alpha Sam Papa India. It's trading. I'm watching it print.
That's weird. On my broker, it says it's delisted.
What does my broker say? Yeah, no, I mean, the one we're looking at is AISP, so it really doesn't matter. I just kind of noticed it.
It's just interesting to me, given the conversation we just had about real estate yesterday at happy hour.
And yeah, so you're talking about the National Realtors change for commission structure for buyers agents.
Right.
For those of you that didn't join that,
I was interested in what kind of price action it was seeing, because I would have thought that some of the companies that have agents are going to probably not do well, but if they have a different edge on how they're going to help consumers buy and sell homes, then maybe there's an edge for them to get a greater market share. I don't know. I think there's going to be some fallout from that settlement.
Yeah, I think there is too. That's what our real estate professionals were saying the same thing last night. I'm with you on that. SOUN looks like this might be going lower here.
Oh, is MSTR still headed down? Is it the offering news really taking its toll?
It's leaking. It's nothing volatile, but yeah, it's leaking and drifting lower here.
Okay.
JWN, I don't know if you were here for this. JWN was halted on talks of it potentially going private. Jay Rice flagged this one for us. Halted at like 1760, opened up out of that halt, went higher. Actually, I think went as high as 20, didn't it? No, we didn't quite get 20 prints in there. 1948 looks like your high print, but doing a good job here staying above the VWAP. That brought some other stocks up with it, by the way. 13M for Macy's, KSS for Kohl's. Those charts look identical.
But only Nordstrom is trying to go private.
Yeah, it's just the sympathy news that we're talking about. Works actually looks like this might be setting up for another up move. Can you believe it?
No.
Larry H.
No, I can't.
Saying, I need to walk away. Red, red, red. Look, we talk about this all the time. When things are struggling and don't make sense, it is okay to walk away, reset the mentals. Do not force yourself into a position where you're not comfortable in. That's how more mistakes happen.
You don't have to fight to get it back. That's a battle you can fight tomorrow.
Yep. CERS looks like this did come up off the bottom here. This one looking pretty good. Let's see if we can make a move back to VWAP. Only 20 cents away from that VWAP ticker CERS. Miles, good job staying on that one.
Nice.
And Smoke Tuna giving you the warning here on Works. We are kind of waiting for a flush there. We'll see if we end up getting that. A flush down to VWAP might actually provide entry.
Remember, 1.1 million float in Works. So to his point, absolutely, it can flush really easily. Okay, root's still going down, so maybe you are going sort of getting a more normal market, but that can change real quick too.
Jay reminding us here of a bad call in the past. Speaking of Nordstrom's, one of the worst calls ever. KSS board turned down a 65 bid. When was that, Jay? 65 bid. For context, the stock's $25 right now. When was that, Jay? That is yikes. Lysy here. This definitely a spot. Let's see if we can break this 141 spot up on Lysy.
That'd be cool. Looks like it wants it. But I don't think this is one that has a very low float, is it? No, 120 million shares.
No, that's a big one. Nice and thick. Like a milkshake.
Or probably like the pasta sauce I'll be making tonight.
Oh, man. You didn't need to tell me that. I do love some pasta.
My youngest is a big pasta aficionado. He loves it. He wants to go to Italy.
Ooh, that would be a fun vacation.
Kid's 10 years old. He wants to learn how to cook and learn how to make Italian foods.
Oh, living the high life. Look
Dude,
at
I
this.
gotta let him pursue his dream. We're
Yeah,
going to
you
Italy
do.
someday.
Yeah, you do. And you know what? His dream might mean that you're a taste tester for the rest of your life, and that wouldn't be so bad either, honestly.
It really wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
Works is actually doing a pretty decent job holding in here. I'm with Tuna. I'd be worried about the yank with Works being up this much here today. Works up 103% here today. So keep that in mind. My daughter knew she wanted to be a chef from age 8. Jane, you must be doing really well over there then.
That's awesome. Did she? I mean, I don't know how old she is now, but did she pursue her dream, or where's she at with that pasta bench? CERS. Here we go.
Yeah, this one coming up off the bottom here. 13, I'm going to let you drive here for just 1 second, BRB.
Okay. I'm going to put one hand over my eye so I can do this. CERS, looking like we're getting some movement out of that 2 handle. Same thing with PTPI. That one's starting to move up. Works. This one has some, it's getting some good volume. I think that 4 break is going to really send this. Looks like we're about to get it. Ooh, popped up and then came back in. But we did break 4. Here we go. This is where I think you were talking about with the easy pull. We could get that right here if we can't keep moving up. But keep that in mind. Z-Car is still not moving. Spire going down. Ooh, LICY, ugly. CERS still trying to push away from 2. Man, the volume. Oh, nice, Jane. Good job. Good job supporting her through that. That's amazing. IMRX. No.
I love how as soon as I say I'm going to let you drive, you're like, okay, I'm going to put one hand over my eye.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. CERS still trading back up here. She did indeed learn at the School of Hard Knocks. All right, yeah. Jane. All right, Jane. Taking a couple of classes at the School of Hard Knocks myself.
Works had a pop over 4, and then it came right back in. Still holding here, so I think that's a good sign. If we can continue to hold here for another 10, 15 minutes, there could be some more upside. Just those wicks up there, those upper shadows, don't really make me feel too confident, though. But we'll see. CRS pushing up.
Looking at the just kind of a market checkup here. Dow green here by about 0.25%. SPY down here about 0.25%, but really in kind of a tight range, chopping around. NASDAQ lower here by about 0.5%, also in a range, kind of chopping around. A lot of chop here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this in the FOMC tomorrow, honestly. Amazon making another move to its highs. Amazon has been strong here today. I'm still long that butterfly, by the way, so I still have exposure to Amazon upside. AUGX here. We talked about this one earlier. This is actually making new highs here, AUGX. This is kind of a slower trader, but this one's working. Was in Nordstrom's yesterday. Gotta love the $1,000 77 Prada sneakers. Look, here's the one thing I don't understand. Like, I understand things being expensive because they're made with better materials, or they provide some function, or they just work really well. Apple's a really good example of that, Apple products. But I don't understand some of these luxury clothing brands. Like, I saw this ad, like this Dolce & Gabbana, just plain black crew sweater was like $900. Like, what is the... And like a Fendi hat is like 150. I don't understand what.
Does it have AI?
It must. Did they use AI to create those? I don't know. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm just a simpleton. I don't know. SPIR setting up here, says Smoke Tuna. That one has been on the radar all day. We'll see if this has actually bottomed here. Maybe this is kind of slowed down. Remember, I didn't really have levels for you the last time that we came in here. It was right here at about 1565. Looks like we did go a little bit lower. Maybe that's enough. The MACD is not compressing, though. I'd like to see this show a tendency to want to go positive on that histogram. Not getting that yet here. Supply and demand and exclusivity. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm the type of guy that if I go to a store and I see a sweater that I really like, I'm like, oh man, I really like that. I want to buy it. It's $100 price tag. And then I go to Costco and I see something very similar and it's $19.99. I get excited about buying the $19.99 Costco sweater. So maybe I am not the target audience for exclusive designer brands. And I'm okay with that.
Oh, a lot of those Mag 7s were up today or yesterday or down today.
Oh, shoot, Wiss, I asked you about the tournament, and I think you answered, and I never read it. And I'm going to scroll back up and try and find it. Tourney was awesome. Course was a beaut. Got spoiled in a suite. Trevor Lawrence was sitting right next to me. Oh, my God. Okay, so suites at golf tournaments are awesome. Wiss, I told you before, though, pictures are it didn't happen. Better have one, dude. Yeah, the SPIR news here, another AI Nvidia collab, I suppose. I can actually read you the actual news here on SPIR. Let me. I know.
Is it really?
Well, it's another one added to that list, right? NNOX, RX, SOUN. Now we have SPIR here. Spire Global shares trading higher for the company announced a collaboration with Nvidia to advance AI-driven weather prediction. What do you think about that?
Well, I think they're going to be competing with IBM. Don't they own the Weather Channel?
Oh, they might.
Or they have some kind of relationship with it where they're providing the Watson AI. I don't know.
I'm sorry to interrupt here. Yeah, Hugo Stini. Oh, that is a cool name, dude. Hugo Stini. That is a sweet name. Okay. Great call. Also, APM here. Big time rip on volume. This is actually into a halt. APM is halted here. We'll watch this one come out of the halt. Man, that rip off that move there, 921 up to 1082 here off that high break on the expanding volume. Great call, Hugostini. Great call on that one. I was a little bit late to that, but for those of you that had that one on watch, gosh, I hope you hit it.
Yeah, APM, this one's got a 2.3 million share float, so this one's going to move. Zcar may be finding a bottom, trying to
find Z Garage, I thought.
Maybe Z Garage is at Z bottom.
It probably is. Hoth down at the bottom end of its pre-market range. It's either got a bounce here or that might be over, folks, on Hoth. And in fact, APM's halted. We don't need to watch a halted stock. Come on, Ryan. Hoth here, again, bottom of the pre-market range here. It's got a bounce right here. Otherwise, we might break down. Look, we talked about Hoth at the beginning. We've seen this here before. Hopefully nobody got hurt by that. Didn't really give any great trades here on Hoth either. Understand if you tried it because of a setup, but it didn't really materialize.
SPIR still moving up off that low from, I think it was Smoke Tuna that had mentioned it. Still a little bit of a spread though.
Jay mentioning, we talked about some of those housing numbers earlier, real quickly, just to set the stage for that real quick. Housing numbers that we got here this morning. USA housing starts month over month for February, 10.7% versus negative 12.3% prior. So big change there. Big change there. 13, kudos to you for flagging that this morning. Also building permits month over month for February, up 1.9%. So it looks like we did get some news there on housing. Jay is mentioning here XBH was liking that. What were the other tickers here? Home Depot liking that as well. I would imagine Lowe's would also fit into that. That I believe is ticker LOW. Which one?
Works is starting to go again. It's getting some movement here.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a call here. This is not a trade, but I think that was a head fake. I think this rolls over to the VWAP.
Okay.
I think before we end up going to these highs, we're going to retest this VWAP. I've seen that, but maybe I'm wrong. I've seen this formation before. I think this rolls over.
Yeah, I was mentioning those wicks earlier. That's those aren't too encouraging.
Here we go. Jay Summers. I love the deals out here. Picked up a nice Tommy Bahama long sleeve shirt at Lahala Goodwill store for $12.95. That's what I'm talking about. I get excited by deals like that. I really do. Dry cleaning tags still on it. All right. Jay Summers finding the deals out there. You love to see it. Works really flirting with that 380 area. see if this is a head fake or if this just goes. Going to make him an idiot out of me or what?
Well, I mean, if it can hold above, I think that, a test of VWAP would be fine. I just don't want to see it go through that. But
Sure.
the MACD is starting to, make me think that we could start to move down here pretty soon. But if we break up over 4 and start to move up and actually get a close above 4, that'd be great too. We'll see. I mean, it's kind of just going sideways at the moment, but I think in the next maybe 5 to 10 minutes, we'll get an idea of where this is going.
We'll see if that rolls over here. Yeah, I was just saying, let's check Lycee here. That looks like that's trying to push up off the VWAP. JWN still holding that 1920 handle. How did MSTR do? How did that keep trading? And it's still a drift lower here. It's actually doing the exact same thing Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin futures chart here drifting lower, 62,510 the low. We're about 100 points up off that low. Bitcoin weekday here today. A little bit of a pullback. That's okay though.
I mean, if you're right, and they did that offering so they could buy more Bitcoin or more mining machines, then it should be a lot more heavily tied to the price of Bitcoin than it is now.
Yeah. Yep. APM should be opening here in the next minute. We'll bring this up on screen here. That halt again, 1082 here on ticker APM, Alpha Papa Mary. We are set to open here pretty soon.
What are you thinking with APM? The next target I have is 1255.
Yeah, let's see. Let's look at the daily chart here. I've got one at 1102. I got one at 17. Let's see here. APM. It's open. It's trying to go higher here. There we go.
There's 1150.
There we go. What was the spot that you had, 13?
1255.
1255. Okay, here we go to 12. Looks like APM. Man, this thing's all over the place. I tell you what, it goes from a 3-cent spread to a 20-cent spread in the blink of an eye. Careful on that. Make sure you have your orders. Probably want to limit into this instead of marketing if you're going to trade it. I'm going to stay away, but just saying. Big volume stick here too on this off this resumption.
Mm-hmm. We'll probably get a halt at some point again if we keep this volume up, this price action.
Yep. It's trying to figure out where it's going to go here. Now it's moving lower. Or thinking about it, man, it's just depends on what second you happen to look at it, honestly.
Some pretty sizable spreads there.
Yep, indeed. And I don't see a lot of size here above either. It could be people hiding their size, though. I don't necessarily want to make too much of a judgment off that alone.
It's 5 cents away from 12 now.
It's going to 12. Looks like it's going to try that. Here we go.
Works still sideways.
I'm being informed here that I have a new Nvidia driver, game-ready driver ready today. And I don't think that has anything to do with the conference. I just kind of noticed it.
That'd be hilarious.
Hilarious. Oh, we've got a new AI patch for you here.
Yeah, exactly.
2x frames. Let's go.
You get an update. You get an update.
Ticker STI here. This did move through its VWAP. It's trying to hold above it. Glenn mentioning Tesla. I'll go back to APM here in a sec. Tesla up off the bottom. It did bounce off that 168 pretty good here. Let's see if it breaks out of that 170. I'm looking at the range here. This range looked good, but it didn't give us the setup that we wanted, so I don't feel bad about missing it. Chefs mentioning BBAI here. This I don't really see a whole lot going on. It is holding 2 on BBAI.
Getting a mention of OCEA.
That's an old girlfriend for 13.
Oh, yes, it is. She's knocking on the door, wanting to know where I've been.
You're making money elsewhere. OCEA popping here. Lycee popping to the top end of that range. Remember, this was that spot we needed to take out earlier. I've got that at 141 and then maybe 145 above. Lycee, a big move to VWAP.
145 is the level I want to see break.
Tesla still pushing up out of that range. Tesla looks like this is trying to go. See if it takes 171 out. Probably go to 173 if 171 falls here. Apple also breaking out here. What's going on with the Qs? Yeah, Qs are just kind of hanging in here. Just some individual names. Apple top end of that range here. Let's see if it stops 175, 13.
Oh, we got all day. This thing can go right back down underneath 174 like it did yesterday.
Dow's higher. NASDAQ down about 0.5%. SPY down 0.2%. Boy, we're right there.
For
Check on
OCE,
APM.
for OCEA, I've had levels previously on this. The one that I'd like to see it get up to is 555. That's the next one I have. I haven't put anything beneath that because we haven't really been down here that much.
OCA, that pop kind of stopped it here. Volume still looking good, but we need that to keep moving. Amazon might set some new intraday highs too. That has been strong all morning here on Amazon. Looks like that's going back towards the high. Remember, we actually just saw this on Apple. It actually burst through that high. Microsoft also at HOD.
Yeah, Microsoft and Apple, the only green ones I see right now.
Yeah, and if you take a look here at Microsoft, this is actually pretty interesting. We're at the top end of the intraday highs from yesterday. We'll see if we break those.
And Amazon. Sorry, I don't know why I didn't have that one on the list. Okay, should see some movement in works probably in the next 5 minutes. It's trying to decide if it's going to go beneath 366 or break out of 370. We got two levels of sizable orders there. Okay, so it looks like it's going to take out that that upside one. Now the next level I have is to take out is 380. There's a lot of size there, but it looks like works is trying to go up. APM still strong, but having a trouble getting up over 1195.
This was a power move on volume, though.
That's right. I have to. I'm I'm on single parent duty this week, Jay Summers. I got to take the kids to school.
Hugostini, where were those buyers at? 30K buyers. What price level were those buyers at? My ladder here is flipping around too much. SMCI coming up off the bottom. Let's see how Nvidia's doing here. So Nvidia's trying to build above the VWAP for another move higher here.
So works went down to VWAP.
This is
the move you wanted.
This was the head fake that I was talking about. It looked like it might be trying to go, but instead we get a VWAP test here. I'll take that. I'll take the dub.
Is this where you would want to enter, or is this?
I don't. This stock's up over 100%. I don't want to enter. Okay. This I want to stay away from. I'm calling out these different levels here because I think that if this breaks here, I think we really need to wait for this to kind of firm up here. It's looking like it does not have it. Works looking like this is trying to go lower. We'll see now if we get a head fake lower. Right, we've already got that head fake to the upside. Let's see if we get one lower here.
I would think it at this point, because of what we got going on here, it's probably wanting to go about 290.
Mini me popping, ticker NINM. Mary India Nancy Mary.
PTPI still low volume, but looks like it's trying to take another shot at 150. What is this? 160, 155, 160.
APM pulled off that high. So here we go, right back to the VWAP here. You might get a bounce here on VWAP at APM. I'd be careful on that trade if you take it. Be quick on it. SPIR, Byron's mentioning that one. That one's been on watch all morning here. SPIR showing no firming up here. Careful with that one, Byron. Have a plan for the downside in case you don't get the move you're looking for. Around here and see what FinTwit is talking about. OTRK. We took a look at that one, and yeah, that was the penny stock. We looked at that one.
I am not having the greatest luck today. I'm not red. It's just very, very small green, and I'm not too encouraged about it. Just because things aren't really moving very well for me.
Yeah, I'm small red on my day trades. I had the one trade on Mara that ended up closing for a small loss. Swing account is about flat. I'm literally down $46. That is, for all intents and purposes, that is flat.
I must have just missed all the really good movement when I had to leave for a bit. Seems like you guys had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, we were hanging out. I mean, the chat always has a good time because they're awesome people.
All right.
But
looks like PTPI is still making that move up, but it's just the volume just is so low.
PTPI, that's right at that spot. Lysy still hanging out at that spot too on Lysy.
And now APM is really bleeding here.
Yeah, break beneath its VWAP. Got to wait for that one to firm up here on APM. NCMI from Miles. Maybe a pop through VWAP here. AUUD patent news. Feel like we've seen that a few times here. Yeah. Audio.
OCEA is still holding above its VWAP. This one could get interesting here if it holds. Yeah. I don't know. It looks like, I mean, to me, it looks like work's headed to, wants to go under 3. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'll have to see in the next matter of minutes if that's going to be the direction it goes. Sideways action, I agree.
Yeah, just definitely a lot of chop. The SPY's trying to go green. SPY trying to make a red to green move right here. See if it's able to do that. NASDAQ a little bit further away. Dow's already been green. Did someone mention CLRB earlier, I feel like? Yeah, that was a decent move here today. Someone mentioned this. I forgot who it was. I apologize. EH. This was one from yesterday. That's actually a decent job coming up off the bottom on EHang Holdings. That was that
flying taxi.
Flying taxi, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yes, Lynn, you absolutely can say that this community is great. We say the same thing. Really grateful that have an opportunity to do this. Hanging out with the community is the most fun thing I do at work, without a doubt. Hanging out with other people, coworkers as well. We got a great staff over here. Groupon being mentioned here. GRPN. This actually trading up. Groupon. How are we doing on works? Looks like we're trying to hold that VWAP. You want to check Hollow, BMEA, and NVAX? We can roll through those real quick. Those are all recent movers here. Hollow, this is drifting lower. Doesn't have much of anything. BMEA. This also doesn't have much of anything. Really, really low volume on that one as well. Last one here you had was NVAX. Let's take a look at that. All of those kind of drifting lower, low volume on all of those, my man.
Even Root looks like it wants to head lower. We have some consolidation from yesterday in the open that it's coming down to. It's been down there twice. We keep hammering that area. I'm beginning to think it's just going to end up falling through it.
AUUD, that was a good pop there. Nice call on that, Wes. That had patent news earlier. Whoever brought that to us, way to go. Volume looks good here, AUUD.
I think APM might have maybe found a bottom from this move down.
Which one?
APM.
APM.
Yeah, let's see if that can hold that. What was this about? 975 that it came down to.
Look at CLF here today. Cleveland Cliffs looking pretty good.
Oof. I don't know, man.
Yeah, not a whole lot. What I will say, though, 13, is that we kind of talked about us thinking that this was going to be the case leading into the Fed minutes. So
yeah,
this is the time to be tactical. And I'll tell you something else. If you don't have trades lined up, or you don't, I know Larry earlier said he was walking away. One of the other things that you can do is just simply research, right? That's research is free. It just costs your time.
Or start getting a shopping list together if we are anticipating more downside. Get some ideas ready to go long on. I mean, if you're going long for 6 months, a year, longer in some of these things, there's some opportunities out there. And just waiting to be found on a buy the dip, or buy a pullback, or buy a correction. We're all expecting that kind of price action. So I intend to have a list ready to go. I have some ideas of what I would like.
Yes.
How about you?
Yes, I do too. But you're absolutely correct in what you're saying here. You might as well have as much of that prepared as possible, because when the moment comes, you want to be as prepared as possible. The market waits for nobody. Don't forget that. Real quick here, Shiba Toshi, I hope I got that right, mentioning snow here. For you folks that remember, I actually tried to trade snow when we came to the 200-day, right? We had a couple of these closes above the 200-day. And then it really, really weakened. I was actually stopped out on that move lower. Now we actually continue to move towards the bottom. So I'm with you in the sense that I definitely would look for a snow to the long side here, but I want to confirm a bottom. And what I mean by confirming a bottom, like let's say it comes into this 140 level, okay? I don't just want to say, okay, we came into the 140 level, that's done. Let's go long and see what the day brings. I want it to confirm that that's the case. I want to, even if it trades back up to 141, 142, 143, if I can confirm that that bottom's in there, I'm going to feel better about trading it here. I was simply too early on snow, but I do think that there's going to be another upside move here.
Ryan, Albert On is asking, as a new trader, what's the best place to start to learn? I'd imagine that Benzinga has a good number of courses they could take to get going, if you want to tell them about it.
Yes, that's a really good call here. What I will say, it depends on what you want to learn, right? First of all, you can absolutely use plenty of free resources to learn. That's what I did. Full disclosure, I had a degree in business management, or a degree in business administration with a concentration in management and finance, and I learned zero about the market in those courses. So learning by yourself is always something. But if you're looking for us to help you, we actually have several different products. Head on over to benzinga.research or benzinga.com/research. I just went ahead through the link in the YouTube chat here. We actually have trading schools and option schools that teach you how to trade both of those instruments. Okay. And the teachers are both professional traders. They have video libraries of classes as well as live sessions, question and answer, and they really teach fundamentals. They teach things that you can stand on and then build your own trading style and persona from. So being a BZ employee here, I absolutely would recommend checking out the schools. If you need someone from our team to call you, we can arrange that as well. Real quickly here, Shibatoshi also mentioning PanW. PanW is another one here that I'm going to look to trade. I'm going to wait this one out, though. We got a great trade off the 3 closes above the 200-day before with the Pelosi push, if you recall. Let's see what happens when we get back down here. This looks like more of a slower move, so I want to be patient and wait this one out, but I agree. PanW also on watch. Just don't have an entry trigger yet there.
Well, that sounds like all good stuff. APM now under 10.
Take care of yourself, Wes. Good to see you this morning. Sorry, 13 didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No worries. Bye, Wes.
APM did break beneath that VWAP. Shibatoshi saying, I always watch you guys. Keep it up. We will absolutely do that. We really thank you for your participation. Remember, the community is better when you folks participate. Having 2 talking heads up here, you guys might as well just watch TV if that's what you want. Where our show differs is we want you to participate. We want everyone to participate. We can make each other better. I really and truly believe that. AUUD here coming off the highs. Looks like it tested 3 there. KB mentioning Lycee. Lycee did. Okay, so this is, I know I didn't have it on the screen here, but we covered this so many times. Look at that break. We're getting the trade here. Now we're moving up to the top end of the pre-market range, expecting some more resistance here. Let's see if we break that and go higher here.
Yeah, we had a pre-market high. No, I'm sorry. This was some after hours, 152. So that would be the next level I have there.
Kevin, that depends. You want to shoot me an email? Maybe I can put something together. I do know, like, here's the thing, guys. I don't have any license to manage other people's money. I will not do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not licensed to do that. But in the position that I am, I've met plenty of people that are in that position, that are properly credentialed and are properly licensed. And, I 13, we talk about this all the time. You always recommend to people that they should have a financial advisor, even if they're trading for themselves. Have a professional looking out for your own wealth. I'm a huge believer that, actively trading your own money is a good thing because nobody cares about your money more than you do. But there's nothing wrong with kind of diversifying that into other areas. So I maybe put you, maybe push you in the right direction there or something, Kevin. But I cannot give any type of advice. You wouldn't want that anyway. Let's put it that way. You wouldn't want that anyway.
To add an asterisk to that, I absolutely would suggest that the financial advisor you look for be a licensed fiduciary.
Yep.
That way they're legally required to act in your interest and they aren't just selling you something.
Really good piece of advice there. Really good piece of advice. Okay.
5 minutes. What are we doing in 5 minutes?
Actually, there is no show with Anne-Marie today just because of all of the travel back and forth. So there will be one on Friday, though. So if you're looking for some more stuff on the multi-leg options trades, definitely check in on Friday. After the show here today, I think we actually have I have to check with the show's team. I remember that my show got bumped for a different obligation. And once that happened, I kind of tuned out the rest. So shame on me. I'll try and get that here for you. But we do have a couple of minutes left here.
Yeah, all right. What are you doing, Lacey? Are you going to try to take 152? APM looks like it's trying to come back. It held that 975, 980 area.
Dr. Pablo says, you guys do a great job. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate that. What I will say, Dr. Pablo, and anyone else that has an opinion, what are the 1 to 3 things that we could do better or that you would like to see? We always looking for feedback from people. Some of the things we can probably fold in, some of the things we might not be able to, but I'm definitely interested in your feedback. So if you have that, let us know. If you don't have it ready now, don't worry. Think about it and get back to us at some other point. Always looking to make things better. My motto in life, 2% better every day, whether it's professional, just being a person, sports, golf, whatever it is, 2% better every day. More quality guests. Lynn, I am absolutely working on that. I'm thrilled to have Matt Malley joining us now. I will keep trying to work on that. That's good feedback.
Marcus Sniper asking, why do some advisors come across as car salesmen? Because they are trying to sell you something. Yeah. They get commissions from, I haven't ever watched it completely all the way through, but I think Wolf of Wall Street might help have you understand why they are trying to sell. They're just trying to make money. They get money off commissions or off service packages if you have a contract with them.
That's why I like this show so much, because I don't make any money off of the show. So what we're talking about here is just strictly idea generation, due diligence, sorting through news here. Frankly, I do make more money when the chat helps and participates. You guys find things that I'm not looking at. You guys actually act as alerts in some cases. So, it's just, again, it's all about that community, Do
you have something for the soundboard of when you get a chat alert?
A chat alert. Let's see.
Yippee-ki-yay,
Nope.
That'd be perfect.
That one has that was the Jaws one.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah, no, I got to go through these. You know what, 13? That might be a project for the weekend to kind of go through some of the different. How did I go to the first sound that had the F word in it? That was something else.
That was great. I don't know, chat. What do you think about that?
Richard, here we go. I like this feedback. Mod charts so that the text is larger, maybe thicker lines. It's difficult to read the X and the Y axis. You know what, Richard? This is great feedback because I did this on the BZ charts, but you're absolutely right. I could probably do this on the trade the pool charts. You have just given me an assignment for today. I will see if I can make these axes easier to read. The line thickness, I know that we can do, but let me see if I can play around with some of those settings. That's a really good piece of feedback, Richard.
Looks like Lysy might be putting up tweezers here.
Okay. Okay, so yes, so to answer your question earlier, we have Benzinga Live coming up right after us here in a minute. And actually, boy, we got about 30 seconds left here. So we do have Benzinga Live coming up. Kaiju is going to be a guest there. So that is coming up. We're going to send you right over there. And then Tech Tune-Up with Paul Meeks to go over the Nvidia keynote from yesterday. Oh, thank you, Shows team. You folks are the best. Folks, if you missed that Nvidia keynote yesterday, like I did when we were talking about happy hour, I guess I didn't really miss much of it because we were talking about it. Be sure to check that out. Okay, the all access is at 12. So we are at 11. We've got to get going. 13. I ran that tease right up into the end here. We're going to be back at this again tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Remember, smash up that like for the community. My man 13, our team here, really appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Benzinga Live next.